What's good, everybody? It's your host, Dan, tonight for the Bronx Muchachos. I'm here with Paul Wooden of Prospects 1500. What's up, Paul?
Hey, good evening, guy.
What's up, man? Hey, so first things first, just want to kind of shout out, state of Florida. They're going through a lot right now, especially like Cape Coral, Fort Myers. I have family down there. I got family in Orlando. Our guys, the reason why they're not here tonight is because they're dealing with the hurricane. So just prayers and, shouting out for you guys and sending lots of love. Hopefully everybody's safe, no one's hurt. So I just want to kind of lead off with that.
Nope, absolutely.
Yeah,
crazy stuff down there going on.
Yeah, it's scary. Like
yeah, it was.
Fort Myers is like underwater right now. I was like, wow,
insane. I was watching the videos at work today, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah. So hopefully, this provides the people because 5 Reasons. That's Miami based, so hopefully everybody that's watching tonight and that's along with us gets kind of a respite from the craziness of the hurricane and kind of give you some good vibes thinking about the Yankees and talking about the Yankees, which have been giving us really good vibes lately, man.
Absolutely.
ALDS champions. Judge hit his 61st homer. So what do you think about the division? Like, how'd you feel when we finally clinched?
It was an up and down. I'm glad August is done. August was like stressful, and you take out August, and the season was fantastic. No question about it. You had a great season if you just take out August. Unfortunately, they played really bad ball in August, and it was a little too tighter than it needed to be towards the end here. They went 10-18 in August, and no other year, and 13-13 in July. Otherwise, single-digit losses in every month.
Mm-hmm. And September's more the same, 17-7 right now so far.
Yep. Exactly.
So this is the Yankees of old of the first half.
a couple months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So, had me a little nervous in July, had me a little nervous in August, but so that's why the 162 game grind,
100%. And to do it in Toronto, I think that's kind of like the cherry on top.
After Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s comments.
Oh my God. This is my house.
This is my house. Off, and then,
you can barely speak English. Just say it in Spanish. We understand in Spanish too.
He is the future there. So, I'm not questioning that. He's definitely the long-term future there. So.
But, the thing about Vladdy, though, he celebrates after everything. A ground ball first, a regular 6-3, he's fist pumping. Hey,
all right, Vladdy. He's an exciting young player. That's all. He's exciting. He's a little over the top. He's a little exciting. I like those young players like that. We have one right now in Cabrera. The same thing. He's very demonstrative. He's very go getting. He's very and it's brought. I think it helped the team quite a bit. It's bad. Really hasn't hit too much, but I think it's just his all around presence of being there has definitely helped the team. The youth has been all right, rejuvenated some guys and stuff.
He's got swag. I like Cabrera
exactly,
a lot,
and I think that once he came in and Peraza came in, it kind of brought a little bit extra swag to the team, a little bit extra youth and energy and exuberance to the team.
For sure.
And I think that was kind of lacking with the veterans kind of sitting around, the Aaron Hickses of the world and stuff like that. It was all right, you don't have that swag. You don't have that fight and that drive.
Bro, the fact that Aaron hit, he had 3 hits yesterday. He's been hot with the bat lately. But he stole a hit from Cabrera. I think the list just adds on.
It's just bad base running. You're a veteran, you should know this by now.
100%.
This is just bad base running, and we can't do that in the playoffs. You can't afford that in the playoffs. You can't even afford that the rest of the way. Because I don't want and that leads to something we had already discussed. I don't want anybody really sitting too much. Mm-hmm. I want a rest day here and there at a DH day for guys here and there, but I don't want to be seeing, hey, you're going to get benched because you had one bad play. We can't afford that now.
Yeah. No, for real. There's zero room for error. It's the playoffs. Literally every pitch counts.
Yep.
It's about to be crazy in the Bronx, man. I cannot wait. It's been a couple of years since we've hosted a playoff series. So the Bronx is going to be crazy. The Bronx's weekend is going to be crazy. So I'm so looking forward to it. Forward to it.
Should be good.
It's going to be great. But for the division, I think when we had a preseason, Show, I was literally the only one to
You
choose the
were. You were.
Yankees.
I believe I picked Toronto when I was on the first time with you guys.
Yeah,
And I don't think I was
exactly.
too far away. I don't think I was too far away. I think I was like an Aaron Judge injury away from
Yeah.
from from being
Oh
there. I
man.
mean, Aaron Judge literally carried this team on his back all year. There's no question about it. And it goes back to
100%.
if you don't have him, we're not as good as we were. Plain and simple. If he goes down for 3 weeks, I
Nope.
mean, we saw it when a couple guys went down, team went down
Hmm.
too. Aaron Judge carried
Yep.
them in that little span, and I think it's the same thing. If Aaron Judge goes down, I don't think anybody's carrying that team because we know Aaron Hicks isn't Aaron Judge.
No, no. But in the month of August, the team WAR was 2.2. Aaron Judge accounted for 1.8 of that.
Exactly,
So
ridiculous. He literally did it
that's
all.
that's one of my favorite stats from August. Like just going back on it, and had Aaron Judge not been on this team, the Yankees would have accumulated a .4 WAR, which would have been 29th in all of baseball. Like,
Yeah, which
come
means
on.
Tampa Bay and Toronto probably would have been
Oh yeah.
right there right now.
Yep. That's 9 games right there.
Yeah,
We're
crazy.
Tampa lost again tonight. I was watching that Cleveland Tampa game, and neither team can hit. So, we're going to talk about this a little bit later down in the show. But
Yeah.
when it comes to first round matchups, shoot, who would you rather have, Cleveland or Seattle? But we'll table that for a little bit later. So, 61. Are you gonna remember that for the rest of your life? Are you gonna be like, yo, I was
So
here at this time, or how's that
I
for
mean,
you?
I think I'm gonna do that at 62.
Okay.
Because in reality, 61 just ties it up. Yeah, it was a cool moment. It was really nice to see him hug his mom, to give a handshake to Roger Maris Jr. It was really cool. It was a really cool moment. I think 62 kind of it in essence it's the modern day record at this point. Like it is the record. It's not a tie anymore. When you look at the record books right now, it's still a tie. Give me 62 and it'll be different.
Yeah,
62 is the actual record.
It is. But for me, I was tearing up, man. Like I'm a crier. Or nobody knows this, but I'm a crier. I cry like during movies or like Forrest Gump. I cry. But watching Judge hit that homer, I legit teared up. It
No, it
was
was absolutely awesome.
just so
No,
cool to see.
I mean,
Like being in a
I
kid.
wish I was there. Unfortunately, I'm not. I wasn't. Weekdays, work the next day, kids.
Oh yeah.
But
That guy who missed the ball, Frankie
dude,
Lasagna. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but
it is. He actually has like a restaurant or something. He was. There was an article about him I read today that he said that like he would trade the ball to Judge for Judge to like come in and eat at his restaurant and like promote his restaurant
wow,
and stuff. Yeah.
wow,
So
wow.
he like legitimately owns like a New York restaurant, and there was like
That's
a big thing. I think it was like New York Post or something. I was like, this is crazy. Just have Aaron Judge promote my restaurant, and I'll give him the ball back.
bro. He lost out on like $2 million
Yeah,
and a bunch of promotion from his restaurant.
and I was reading a crazy article. Is like I guess the players that caught it, the bullpen coach that caught it in
Hmm.
Toronto, if anybody caught it in Toronto, they're actually obligated to turn it over to him. I guess it's in
Wow.
the players' contracts that if you get
Yeah.
like a ball like that and the player wants it, you just turn it over, and that's that. So like that bullpen coach gets nothing. Maybe like a high five and a handshake and like a thank you from Aaron Judge, but
An attaboy, good
yeah, like
job.
hey, whereas like he catches that ball and keeps that ball, he's probably making more for that ball than he does his salary for the year.
100%.
And
100%.
it's absolutely bizarre. Hopefully, when Aaron Judge gets just 400 million, he'll
Yep.
throw that guy a truck or something.
Yeah. Something.
Send
Something.
him up like an ASF 350 and be like, hey, you took care of my ball for me.
Exactly. Exactly. Now it's like sitting in a mantle in his mom's house, that was awesome to see too. Like
No, absolutely.
him acknowledging his mom and Roger Maris Jr. I thought that was I just thought everything was awesome. Michael K's call was really good too. I saw
Yep.
Kurt Schilling was talking smack about it, but I mean it's Kurt Schilling, so
Kurt Schilling's an
he,
attention grabbing guy. He
yeah,
wants that. He
exactly.
wants the headline. He's screaming, "Hey, look at me! I want that headline all the
Yeah,
time."
yeah,
Especially up in New England area, man. He's always up here in like the Boston Globe saying something stupid, saying something
yeah.
crazy.
He doesn't look very good either, man. It looks like he's lost a lot of weight. I'm like, that's not Kurt Schilling. That's
He
like the
had some
menacing guy on the mound.
he had some like legal issues and some other issues, and I think that maybe it took a toll on him a little bit.
He's stressed. Oh well,
Yeah,
it's like
he
for
had
him.
some big time like money legal issues up here.
Oh, he's still stressed.
It's
Yeah.
it's something to read. I'll have to send you a link on that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, Chris Schilling. Jeez. But just throughout this year, so many ups and downs. The way we started, having this historic pace, 114 wins, 116 wins, and to barely scratch across 100 if we even get there. Like, is that kind of a disappointment? Is this what we expected from the Yankees to be right here? I mean, a lot of people expected like fourth place. Anywhere I saw a lot from second to fourth. I really didn't see many people choosing the Yankees to win the AL East.
I mean, I wouldn't call it as a disappointment. I mean, you went in, you won the AL East. You're gonna be second seeded, and I told you this before. I'm glad we're playing the wild card teams. I think it'll be an easier route for us. And I mean, I think
Yeah.
that in this situation, what you have to play, I mean, it's going to be, an opportunity to beat Tampa or Toronto or an easier team for us or Cleveland. If it was Cleveland, we killed those teams, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, Seattle is, but they've been injured, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we went 2-4 versus them for over the course of the year. So I mean, that's not bad, but I think, in the end, it depends on what we had there too.
And I think they played us at the right time too.
Yeah, I think it was like when we were on
we were down.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, when the AL East was just huge. To get that first round bye, I think any Yankee fan would have bought that at the beginning of the season. If they told you, yeah, if we would have said, hey, you know what, Yankees going to get out to a great historic start, but they'll lose the AL. I mean, shoot, if we lost the AL East or something like that, that would have been the absolute worst case scenario. But the fact that we hung on, had a great September, and we're getting healthy, we're getting rolling, we're getting to that point where we're starting to peak. Cabrera's starting to hit some more. We got to get Giancarlo going. Gleyber's hitting again.
He looks like he's hitting finally some more. Giancarlo. It took him a little while, but my only real concern, and I actually had this written down to mention this, is we don't do good when Tampa uses that opener thing. We've never done good on that. If you statistically look at that, especially this year, when they start with that 1 or 2 inning opener and they change it over to the bullpen, that concerns me. I don't want to see Tampa on that reason because I mean, statistically, we don't do good at that. They start with this stupid 2 inning opener guy and then they change it to the bullpen every inning. And
it's terrible.
And they shut us down last couple times by doing that. And it's like, oh, come on.
I'm not really concerned about anybody that we're going to face besides Houston because Houston is legit. As much as we hate them.
I'm hoping they get beat and just be done and we don't have to worry about them.
The thing is,
maybe we can get an upset somewhere.
The only upset that I could see possibly is if Toronto does something out of the ordinary, because that's the only way. If Barrios gets hot, because Gossman and Manoah, those two dudes are studs. Toronto's whoever Toronto plays, they're gonna have to beat in 2 games. They're gonna have to sweep them because if you have Mitchell White starting a game,
it's like just garbage towards the end here.
Yeah, come on, he's got a 5.6 ERA now after facing the Yankees.
He had a couple of good games and then I don't know what the hell happened to him,
bro.
But I just think
we'll see what happens. So I guess now we'll talk about who do we want to play in that first round? Who do you prefer? Because right now it's going to be Houston's obviously number 1, us number 2, Cleveland's number 3. Toronto currently has a number 4 spot, which is going to be Houston to play at Rogers Center. Tampa, and we'll see how Seattle does because Seattle may leapfrog Tampa if they win tonight.
What's the status on Julio Rodriguez? I had seen, I mean, obviously he's hurt, but I didn't see a date when he came back off the top of my head here. I mean, that's a big key for them. I mean, that dude's a monster.
It is.
Dude's an absolute monster. He's slated to return to baseball activity Thursday and aim for Monday activation, so he will be there for the playoffs.
Okay.
But that dude's a monster. And I think that's their big thing. Get him back healthy, and that's a key right there. You're gonna have to get him out every single time. And they're pretty deep. I mean, they're definitely a beatable team, but they're pretty deep.
The thing with Seattle's that you can't get behind because their bullpen is
Their bullpen's
really good.
gross. Yeah, their bullpen's just amazing. So I mean, that's
We
the thing.
saw what they did to us in Seattle with Munoz and Seawald. They kind of, you know, they broke us down essentially. You know, we couldn't touch Munoz. We couldn't touch Seawald.
I'm a little concerned though too. They got some good pitching there with Gilbert and Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and
into me.
In a short series, those dudes go to the bullpen. Matt Brash is already in the bullpen, but
right
up and down. So they'd have Castillo, Bobby Ray, probably like a Marco Gonzalez if it goes the full 3-game set, or maybe Logan Gilbert in that game 3 over Marco Gonzalez. And then for a game 1 situation, if they advance, Marco Gonzalez is starting that game 1. I'm not feeling good about that if I'm a Bears fan. He's 10-15 with a 4.05 ERA.
Well, I get that day. Yeah. So then, I mean, if you can get past that though, and then you get Gilbert and Kirby back, you'll be all right.
Yeah. And then a game 2 will probably be Castillo, and then Ray, and then so on and so forth.
Take that all day.
Yeah, for Seattle. But Castillo did give up like a 5 spot to Oakland on the road. And he pitched against Kansas City, and he was definitely part of that 11-2 debacle when Seattle was up 11-2 with Castillo on the mound, and they lost. Alex,
good afternoon, sir. So,
hey guys.
You know, I'm really concerned about the Seattle bullpen and Eric Swanson, old friend Eric Swanson from the Yankees farm system. That kid is disgusting right now. So, I mean, that's a big concern. I mean, he's got like 20 holds, and I think it was like 64, 65 strikeouts in 50 innings. He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Good weapon for them.
Another dude.
Yeah, great weapon for them. Just in the middle, sitting in the middle relief.
And that's what makes a really good bullpen. Those dudes that in the middle of the game that will either hold a lead or hold a deficit.
They're people you don't hear about. And it's like you don't ever talk about those guys until they matter. Or until they blow something. It's like they'll do their job, then they blow something, and you hear about them.
Yep, like a Lucas Licky for us. I feel like people get Lucas Licky for no reason, but the dude has like a 2.3 ERA. Like, come on, bro. If he doesn't leverage things for us, that's not his role. He's there to really purely be like a long relief guy and hold deficits, and he does a good job at it.
Right.
But when he doesn't, forget about it. People want to like crucify him. It doesn't make sense. Well, that's any reliever. That's any reliever for the Yankees, honestly.
It's been a weird relief season. It's been a weird relief season. It's like what we discussed, you know, with Chapman, man. Last night he looked good. He looked great last night. And then last week we were talking about DFAing him. So like, you know, where is he? What is he? And we don't have enough time to figure out what he is either.
Exactly, because I think that's the thing. Like with Chapman, exactly. Like last night he did great, but look at the lead we had. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not really that stressed out when you have a lead like that.
I said it last time. I think you got to leave him on the roster as a scrub in guy. Like we're up a huge amount or we're down a huge amount. Here you go. Have an inning, second inning. Don't use a key guy at that point. You know, you can 100%. Even stretch Chapman out to 2 innings if you can, and don't use a key guy. Don't use somebody that's going to be a key.
With us being in the playoffs, okay, it's like that's definitely the case. Because if we're beating someone by so much, okay, go ahead. Or if we're getting beat by so much and we're conceding, go ahead. But like if they don't do that and they decide to put him in a key situation, I'm just going to go for a swim. I'm gonna just go for a swim because it's not even worth it.
Nervous as heck if that happens, if they put him in a key spot. But with Aaron Boone, he probably will end up in a key spot.
No, I really don't think he would. Well, listen, Boone. We are seeing now the kind of bullpen by committee. We haven't seen Holmes pitch in a couple days. Johnny Lozano pitched 2 innings the other day. We saw Lou Trevino close. We've seen Scott Efros close. So he's really searching for a dude that's going to take it over. Mm-hmm. If Chapman becomes that guy, then he's that guy. But none of us will feel comfortable if that actually happened. That would be like worst case scenario because that means everybody else is doing terrible, you know? So Chapman is really the last dude that we want in any type of high leverage situation.
I agree.
So
It's between him and Zach Britton, because like, let's be real, Zach Britton right now, he's doing what he has to do to try to get a spot because it's been so long for him.
he can't find the zone.
Nope.
He cannot.
I don't know if
night
you
he
can
threw
put. I don't know if
one
you can put him on the first round roster. I don't know if you can put him on
I don't think you can.
just to start.
I don't think. At least Lucas Licky will give you strikes. He'll throw strikes and he'll get ahead and be competitive.
Right.
Britton is not going to do that right now, and that's
I think
too
if
much of a
Britton-
liability.
If Britton came back like last month and got like a handful of appearances, then you probably could have, because by now he would have figured himself out. But we can't have you figuring yourself out in the playoffs. We can't
Exactly.
have you
Even if he would have came out coming out hot, that would have changed my mind right now. But
Exactly.
he didn't even come out hot. Like, he came out lame.
100%.
Yeah, but even everything was off. His speed was down quite a bit. He wasn't like where he used to be. He wasn't like getting the ball over the plate really well.
Even his
his
whole release
has to
thing,
be
was down like 3 or 4 miles an hour too.
I mean, 93, 94 is not bad with the sinker, but it has to be mechanical. Like, the last thing to come is always going to be command. It's always. But I feel like something's a little bit different there, timing wise, with Britton. So
Well,
I want to see his double. I want to see if his arm is dragging. I want to see the hip to chest rotation to see if the timing's there. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to really delve deep into that, but I wouldn't be surprised if you look at Zach now compared to a couple of years ago when he was a Zach Britton of old, that the timing's there for his mechanics. So I think he's lagging a bit.
I'm just glad that his contract is up and Chapman's contract is up, so we can just
God.
move on. We're not stuck with those two guys for a substantial amount of time like we are Aaron Hicks.
Yep. Nope. Thank God.
Move on. Save that money. Put it somewhere else.
Well, Alex, man. So how'd you feel about the division win and 61? Like,
say it again. Sorry, you broke out a little bit there.
How'd you feel about us winning the division and Judge hitting 61? Do you feel like you're going to be telling your grandkids about Aaron Judge in this season? Or
I actually had the oldest. She was up last night because she's been sick basically in my house. Everyone's been sick all week long. And last night I was like, you know what? F it. You're not going to school tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. Like, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
All right. And I was like, the game's on. I'm going to have to watch the game with me. So yeah, and she at first she was hesitant because come on, 4-year-old rather be on an iPad playing some game on there than watching a baseball game. I understand that, but when Aaron Judge was up, she was paying attention and she saw the home run. And I'm gonna be able to say now for the rest of my life to her, "Hey, you saw Aaron Judge tie Roger Maris."
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
She might not remember it, but at least I know I saw her when she was there with me. I'm honest. So yeah, I was happier for 61 than the division because the division. I mean, yeah, we all knew what happened, but even July when there was the All-Star break coming up, I was already at the area like, I don't care. You guys noticed it. We all noticed it with me. I'm like, we're coasting, even though we had that hump in the middle of the summer and everything like that. I still felt I don't care. I'm not gonna go dive into the deep end. That was our other buddy that had to do that. I'm not gonna say no names who that person is. He decided to go. The sky was falling, but I wasn't going to go there. It was frustrating, but it's the Yankees. It's given that they're going to be in playoff baseball no matter what every year. 61 home runs. I'm sorry. Like the last people that I ever saw do it, they're all on steroids. Let's be quiet. All three of them are on steroids. So like, I don't care about that. I care more about, at least I don't care about them, I should say. I care more about a record that hasn't been set since 1961.
Mm-hmm. So, so you believe 61 is a record and not 73? Are you in that crowd?
I'm 100% in that crowd. Boy. I am totally in that. I will give it for that era. It's understandable. That was the whole steroid era. It is what it is. But if they're not going to put those individuals in the Hall of Fame, for steroids, as a fan, I shouldn't have to acknowledge those records either.
Hey, man, you got a point there. See, I still think 73 is a single season record. Barry Bonds did it. It's not, despite the steroids. I mean, he probably wasn't going to do that without steroids because 73 is an outrageous number. I don't think any human being without help gets it done. But, you know, he still did it. And baseball's a hard sport. It's extremely hard. And to do it with or without help, I still think it is the record. And I see Aaron Judge's as the American League record, as a Yankee record. And you know, I think you could be mutual and this mutually exclusive and say like, hey, you know what, the Yankees record and the American League record, it is what it is, and you still have the overall Major League Baseball record, which is 73. But 61 is hollowed. It's just that number. I mean, it was immortalized in the movie with Billy Crystal. Just everything that Roger Maris went through to get 61. To see it happen right here, right now, in 2022, and be an adult to see it, it's like, it's just so cool. It's so cool. Like, this is the coolest baseball moment. No one imagined this coming into the season. We were thinking like, oh, what's going on with Judge? You know, 13 games in the season, 1 homer. Like, yo, what's happening here? And then for him to just, man, dominate the way he is so cool to see.
It's just unfortunate that he couldn't beat Barry Bonds. He kind of went in couple of little slides there where he got, you know, a week where he didn't get a home run here and there, and it was like, oh man.
I don't think anyone's going to beat Barry Bonds. Like, let's be real. Like, if the man didn't do steroids, I do believe he probably would have beat the original record. But since he did what he did, I can't. I can't go for that. I have to stick to what I said, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I acknowledge all his traits he did till basically Mark McGwire time frame. I will acknowledge everybody's traits until it was all coming out crazy after Mark McGwire's time. That pissed me off. It took me years, legitimately. Yes, I was a Yankee fan. Yes, I was happy the Yankees were winning at that time frame. But to like baseball as a whole, I was angry at the sport. I was really angry at that time frame.
100%. And I think most people were. You know, I think that was the feeling after. But we had the 94 strike. Bud Selig decided steroids was okay. You know, that's essentially what happened. We spoke about this in the offseason. And that home run race brought baseball back.
Absolutely.
Between Sosa and McGwire. It captivated the nation. I was 8 years old at the time. And, you know, I was developing that love for baseball. And to see Sammy and Mark and see him on ESPN, I can still remember it and seeing it, like getting that feeling like, oh, wow, this is so cool. It's historic. But now as an adult, to see this with Aaron Judge and to know that he's clean, he's been tested all season. All these guys have been tested. No one's popped except for Fernando Tatis, who's one of the dumbest people on the face of the earth. But to see Aaron Judge do this clean and 61 be like on the verge of going down, I don't think anything can really beat that besides winning a World Series. Now we have to win a World Series. I feel like there's even more pressure now on Aaron Judge in the playoffs. Like, he breaks his record. He wins the MVP. Like, what does he do in the playoffs to help us win a World Series?
Don't forget Triple Crown. Okay, that's in there.
Triple Crown. This is the single greatest offensive season we'll ever see in our lifetimes. This is not going to happen next year, right? This doesn't happen since any of us has been alive, right? Last time anything like this even came close was Mike Schmidt in 1981. And
I agree.
I wasn't alive then, that's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
So here's my concern, though. And this is just a concern. I love it. Great season. You're now paying for this season. So when he brings this to the bargaining table, he's never going to give you this season ever again, more than likely, like you just said, Danny. But you're now paying for it. That's a big concern because this could turn real ugly real quick. Because especially if he gets hurt again next year or the year after that, if he gets down to, we'll say 30, 35 home runs, people are going to, oh, you paid for the 60. Now look at him. He's, an above average ball player at best. I'm very concerned about that.
That's fine. He's our captain, bro. At the end of the day,
you got to pay him, but I just want to. What's the number? I mean, I saw 450 on 10 today, and my eyes popped out of my head. 45 a year. I was like, holy crap! Like 45 million a year.
I think he's probably going to settle in that 35 to 40, around there.
It's so hard to give a player 40 million on a 200, we'll say 250 for cap, 250 million.
I will agree with you, Paul, but you know what? After the BS that happened in the beginning of the season, okay, and before the season, to put Aaron through all that BS that they put him through, I'm at the level right now. Have fun. Sorry, Hal. Pay the man, and if you don't pay him, you're going to be the most
obviously have to pay. You can't let him go to Boston that has the money. You can't let him go to the Mets, which has the money.
Don't even let him go to Pittsburgh and make a reunion with Andujar. Like, no, I don't even want him that.
You're gonna have $36 million tied up in Garrett Cole and another 45 tied up in Aaron Judge, roughly 40, 45. That's crazy.
Look at the young guys that we have coming up, though.
Yeah, I hope that works.
Great year.
Man. No, I agree with you. I see
Volpe had a great year. All those guys are major league minimum dudes.
I agree. I said it before. I think that we should go, and I said it before. I think we should go for a major league minimum infield. You try to figure out a way to play Volpe, Peraza, Cabrera. Those three guys have to be on the field at all times, as much as you can get them on the field. By mid-season next year, at latest.
We're so close to it right now as it is.
Yeah, we are.
Be real. Like what? Just gotta wait. If
Volpe is going to be like a half season,
if they decide to keep Donaldson, if they decide to keep him, okay, boom. There's so many things that could happen. They're gonna have to eat his thing. They're gonna have to eat probably IKFs.
Hicks, eat some Hicks.
Oh God, we could talk about this all day in the off season, but right now we got a first round matchup potentially between, as it stands right now, it will be between the 3 and 6 seed. Which we spoke a little bit about Seattle and their bullpen and how nasty they are. Julio Rodriguez has to come back healthy for them to even be competitive in that series. But Cleveland, they have really good pitching. Really good pitching, but their offense is terrible. They're the youngest team in baseball. How do you feel like the Yankees would do in the Cleveland matchup? Paul, you can go. We'll start with you.
I think they'd be all right. I mean, like I said to you before, I think that they're just going to hang in there. I mean, versus Cleveland, we went 5-1 over the course of the season. So bring that on, man. You went 5-1. That's pretty good. Off hands, I don't see. I think that's the most reasonable win, honestly. I mean, you got to get past a few guys, but I think that's the most reasonable one because, like you said, I think that if you look at it, you go Cole, Cortez. That's two. You're 2-0 right there. Like you said, their offense can't hit. You're 2-0 right there. So now all you got to do is score for the next guy, whoever the next guy may be at that point. You just got to score for him a couple of runs, and you should be okay. Should be no issues.
But you got also, but Paul, you got to remember, Paul, when it comes to Cole, like that he's been doing it all season long. It feels like at least 1 or 2 home runs. So we also need our offense to kick in at least for a Cole start.
Dude looked great through 6, and then all of a sudden he puked all over himself. I mean, literally just puked all over himself.
That was a really bad inning.
I was like, dude, this is a $36 million pitcher here. Like, yeah, all right, I got that out of the first 6 innings. But once he gave up those other runs, I was like, that's not a $36 million pitcher. That's like your average run-of-the-mill guy. Like, give me – I understand he went through 6, looked great, but you can't puke on yourself right there, especially with our bullpen issues.
Yeah.
Because at that point, if you do tie it up, where do you go? Who do you go to?
I don't know who we go to. I think that's the question.
Exactly.
We all have been having too.
I need like 1 run over 7, or I can't afford 3 runs over 6, and I need like ace material. I need what Cortez is going to give me. I'm going to go as far as saying Cortez should start game 1. He's not going to because Garrett Cole is your $36 million man.
Exactly.
He's not going to because you've got to start Garrett Cole by proxy of he's supposed to be the ace and makes the most money. but I'd go with Cortez. I would think long and hard about going with Cortez there in game 1. It won't happen.
I would like to agree with you on that one, but like we all know that's not going to happen, because if we're paying Cole all this money, it's you got to show up, like you got to do your job. But I'm not all in on Cole either because of what happened even last year. Like, let's be real, he wasn't there. It's like he
dude like melt
not doing what he has to do. Exactly. Like I mean, I was the happiest man when we got Cole because of what he did to us when he was in Houston. But to be realistic with it, I haven't seen playoff Cole here at all. Like, he hasn't come out. Like, maybe this could be the season that he comes out to a whole nother gear, because it hasn't even been regular season Cole, in my opinion, this year, with him in the 6th inning going under all the damn time. It feels like he was always falling off the end around the 6th inning. Okay. And I need him to, especially in playoffs, I need him to go to the 8th inning. I need him to make it to the end of the 7th. If he's not making it to the beginning of the 8th inning and then a little trouble there, we're not paying his the money right now.
I 100% agree. I mean, like 3.51 ERA is where he's at. Like, that's really good. That's really good, but that's not $36 million ace material.
No.
I mean, that's more like a good number 2, like a really good number 2.
And it's come on, let's be real. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
So I was gonna say, it's super important to have Nestor in that 2 spot. You know, to have Cole, he's gonna be throwing 99 to 100 with the slider and the breaking ball and all this stuff. But to have Nestor kind of switch it up and give the opposing team's offense a different look, it's really important. I think it's kind of, I hope I'm right when I say this, a Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte type of situation where, you know, you had the Rocket at the top of the rotation, you had Andy coming behind them and giving the guys a different look. Nestor in that 2 spot is so important. And Cole's going to show up, bro. I really feel like Cole is. He had that bad start in Boston, but he's never pitched well in Boston, ever, in his entire life. You know,
I'll give you that.
So I think if we face Cleveland, who's got, like, let's be honest, let's be real, their offense is not top notch.
I'm not scared of Cleveland. I'm sorry, Danny. You're
yeah.
For us to get Cleveland over Seattle is a godsend, because I'm sorry, I don't want our players going from East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Okay, we're going from New York to Ohio. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that flight.
It's like what you
don't
said.
Want to go to Seattle.
I don't care who we see until we see Houston. That's where I'm really worried. I think essentially you can get past any other team here that's left. I think it's just, let's see what Houston does. Let's see how Houston looks.
I know one thing. I'm rooting for whoever's going against Houston in that round. In the round
it's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle for Toronto or Tampa to beat Houston. Everything has to go right for each team to beat Houston in that short game series.
Hey, don't forget,
because Houston's pitching is so good.
Mathematically, it could be the Orioles.
Hey, we got the Orioles.
Hey, man, don't write the Orioles. They got a real bright future, man. We could be talking about them in this conversation next year. No doubt about it. The future is very bright.
They're better than Boston this year, which is
the future is very, very bright. I think in the AL East, I would go out on a limb and say they may have the brightest future in the AL East from a prospect standpoint.
They're studs.
I mean, they got some disgusting prospects in a good way.
So Garrett Cole's postseason ERA, record in ERA, 8-5 with a 2.93 in 14 starts. In 86 innings pitched, 111 strikeouts. So, 11.6 K per 9. So the Ks are there, the wins are there, the ERA is there. All right, you're not going to expect much more out of a dude in the playoff series. So I trust Garrett Cole to try to eliminate these bad innings, because that's what these are. Limit the bad innings, and we're going to see that 7 1/3 shutout. We're going to see that 8-inning shutout from Garrett Cole. But if he's going to be losing himself over, a bad pitch called like an umpire or, an error behind him, those are the things that are going to lead us to a dark, dark place with Garrett Cole.
I agree.
I don't think anybody wants to go to.
You can't afford the early ejection. With this bullpen, you can't afford him to get tossed in the 4th inning because he's pissed off at balls and strikes. Well, you can't afford that right now. No, I mean, I just had a quick, I wrote down quick 4 things when it related to the playoffs. We got to figure out the bullpen roles of Chapman and Britton. You got to figure out DJ LeMahieu's health. Same with Benny and Carp. I got play Peraza more and stretch out Sevy. Those are my 4 keys. And I don't think any of that is unreasonable. I think you need a little bit more out of Sevy. I think you need to play Peraza to figure out if you want to bring him on the postseason roster and what he's doing. Health, that's key. Is Carpenter going to be there? Is Benny going to be key there? GJ does come back, but is he healthy enough? Is he ready? And then same thing with the bullpen roles we discussed earlier with Chapman and such.
The player
we do
to
got
watch
a few coming back possibly too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. The player to watch in this Baltimore series, besides Britton Chapman duo, is going to be DJ LeMahieu. We got to see what type of swings he's able to get off in this 3-game set. Being in the stadium, maybe it helps. I don't know, but you certainly didn't want to see him in the turf in Toronto. So I'm glad the Yankees made the decision to bring him back during the Baltimore series. And how are we feeling about Frankie Montas? Are we like at this point with the way Tyone's been
coin flip?
He's the game. Tyone, in my opinion, is a Game 4 starter. You're not bringing Montas in for anything other than if we make the championship series or if we make the World Series. Even then, that's like a Game 5 type of situation, and it will be a piggyback. He's not going to be. I really don't see him being a dude.
No, we can't have him as a quote opener. We saw what happened in 2020 Devi. We can't do that again. That'll mess up everything. Messes up the bullpen, messes up the whole thing. Don't do it. If you're gonna leave him, it might be just an inning in scrub time. Up so much, down so much. Or if I need 3 innings because someone got hurt or something like that, something ridiculous. He can give me 3 okay innings if someone gets hurt in like the 3rd inning or something like that. I'm not doing it. I'm not starting him. Nope, not doing it.
Alex.
And then another person we got to worry about I'm worried about that, and I'm also worried about Benintendi. Like, let's be real.
At this point, Harrison Bader has basically took his job. There's no job for Benintendi right now. Rare the way he's playing, batter the way he's playing. If you get back Benintendi back, great.
I would like to agree with you, but we know this front office, and they traded for him, and they want to do something with him.
You have to try and play him if he's available. Exactly. You have to try and figure out something with him.
Okay. And for the starter area, like it's your question, Danny. Like I said, coin flip. Like it's legitimately a coin flip on that area because, like in the number 4, like if they put him in, I'm not happy with it because I don't want him in, but I could see this organization doing it still. Like this organization, at least the way the eggheads upstairs, they like to associate and make the lineup and advise the boss. It's really, really, really sickening because they bring up some stuff that upsets a lot of people. Like, I'm so happy. When going back to Aaron Judge, I'm so happy he hit 61. I can't wait for him to 62 because I'm tired of seeing him at the number 1 spot. I am tired. I don't want to see him number 1.
Here's the thing, though, about Montas, though. 8 starts, 1-3, and 39 2/3 innings. A 6.35 ERA. That's bad. That's horrible. So, I mean, he walked 15 and struck out 33. That's an 8 starts in New York. But before that, in Oakland, 19 games, 104 starts, 109 Ks with a 3.18 ERA. That's the one I need. I need that one to show up. The 3.18 ERA with 109 Ks over 140.
Well, you know what?
Maybe that's one I need, and that's one we didn't get.
Hey Paul,
Period.
maybe we'll be lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky, and we get against the Seattle, and then since he's in the West Coast, he'll play like he was in Oakland again.
Let's do it. Let's put him in Oakland Stadium when we're there too, because that thing is much bigger than New York. Okay,
How
I think
about
I think 30 to 40 pitches is his limit. That's it.
yeah. How about an ALCS type of situation? You piggyback him with a Nestor or a Sevy.
Well, if Nestor can give me 7 and we're up 13-0, then I might be able to throw him in there for an inning. I need Nestor's going to give me what I need. I mean, I'm not worried about Nestor.
No, Paul, what you get is you get Nestor. Game 7, we're up 13-0, and it's the 9th inning.
And Montas gives up like 11, right?
We still won.
I mean, he like lowers the bases, and Boone like, oh, we could try and get another out from him, and Aaron Boone keeps them in for like 2 or 3 batters too long. We've seen that already this year.
But that's great.
Multiple pitchers from Aaron Boone.
But Paul, that's great. Then we get what you tweeted out. We get Donnie Baseball as our coach.
All right, we could segue into that.
Yeah, exactly. Great job,
exactly. Great job, Alex.
I'm learning how to do that.
Opinion first. I want to hear your guys' opinion first because I think everybody knows where I feel on this. So
we know where you feel. You love Aaron Boone. You love anything with the word Aaron in it. We know this. Okay, yeah. Whatever.
Besides Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, Aaron Hicks.
exactly. Except for him. I'm sorry. I get where you're coming from, Danny. You love Aaron Boone, and that's more because you're slightly younger than me, and you're gonna have that like, oh my gosh, I had the love because of what happened in Boston. But I'm gonna be honest. Okay, fine.
I'll let you speak on that. I'll let you talk on that.
That's just an opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But it's Donnie Baseball. I've been happy with him when he was a Dodgers. I was happy with him when he was also with us in the organization after retirement. I was happy with him over in Miami. I will be totally happy with a homecoming back home. I would be the happiest man.
Yeah, you know
he doesn't even worry. He doesn't.
Cool.
He shaves. He's still shaved. He doesn't have the sideburns. I don't got to worry about an old man mullet coming out of him. It's good.
Listen, we discussed this before. That it's done. Do away with the hair thing too. Do away with it. George is dead. George has been buried and dead for a very long time. It's time to move on from that situation. Like
100%.
I don't know if it actually does affect signing some players. It may. I believe it does. I really do think some teams some players look at that and go, it's kind of a weird rule. Why do I want to sign with this team? Like, why do I want to do away with my hair or my mustache or my goatee or whatever? But like, it's time to do away with that. It's 2022, man.
100%. I don't love Aaron Boone. I think that his job is very hard. And I think that us as fans, we think we know better than a guy that's been in baseball his entire life. And I think that's ludicrous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right,
rebuttal. Now we have a man. My rebuttal is this. We have a man, though, that's on the market, that is a Yankee, ex-Yankee as well, and has been doing the same job as Aaron Boone longer. Okay. So with more experience as well. And this is also a man that's been around baseball his whole entire life as well. It's not like you don't know that either.
So I need to duck in on this conversation really quick. So we know he did great in LA for the Dodgers. Fantastic. Lost in the NLDS, lost in the NLCS. Didn't really do much in Miami with a small market.
They're not. Miami wasn't giving him the money.
I know. But I don't know. I expected even to see more out of that Dodgers team. Am I for it? Sure, give him a shot. I don't like Aaron Boone. Everybody knows that. Not an Aaron Boone guy. But give Don Mattingly a shot. But I'm not sold on it. Still not my number one selection.
Hold up. I have a question. Did you guys see that post game when Aaron Boone, when he gave up the belt to Tyone?
I think I did see that on a tweet or something. Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere.
I was fired up.
Hey,
you got to watch that. Were you fired up when you saw that, Paul?
That's nice. It's beautiful. Everybody was kind of cheered up. Everybody was all for it. I mean, I think that maybe Anthony Rizzo should continue to be the manager after last night.
Oh,
He did a good job last night.
He did go
do a good
1-0.
job.
He did a great job.
Bronx in the
Good
fourth
lineup.
goal, which is smart.
So what? So then we put Boone into the pitching
Consultant.
situation because he was in charge of pitching at least.
Like a consultant.
That's all Boone was
maybe
in charge
of. First base coach, some sort of consultant, maybe the
Wow.
ball boy.
What
or
a
the bat-
demotion.
just put him as the bat boy or the ball boy down the line. Catch the foul balls and throw him into the crowd. That's how far done I am with Aaron Boone. Even if he wins to me, that's how far done I am.
If the Yankees win a World Series, and Aaron
What are you
Boone's
right? It's
tenure,
not.
The Yankees.
what's gonna happen? Are you like, well?
No,
Aaron
I'm
Boone,
done.
I love you.
I'm done.
What's
I'm
gonna
done.
happen?
I'm done. I told you I wanted to get rid of Cashman. I wanted to get rid of Boone. I told you. I told everybody for years I'm done with Cashman. Done with Boone. If he wins, he rode Aaron Judge. That's what this is. It's not very hard to write a guy that's setting major league records for home runs.
That's true.
We'll see what happens.
This isn't very hard when you have two almost legit aces in Cole and Cortez, and then you just write Aaron Boone. That's all he's gonna.
No.
Aaron Boone. Just write Aaron Judge. That's all you got to do.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to get rid of Aaron Boone. They're going to tell Rizzo, but like, hey, Rizzo, guess what? You still stay in first base, and you're going to be a player manager now.
Pete Rose, Pete Rose-esque.
Oh my gosh!
And we're saving money.
I love it.
That's a little cap. We're saving money, saving some money.
Yeah, quietly though, quietly. And seriously, I'd like to go give Jorge Posada a call. Sounds stupid. Sounds stupid, and he doesn't have really any coaching experience.
Right.
But in the house guy, catchers are always seem to be really smart when it comes to managing. I'd like to go give Posada a call and see if he'd like to at least be interested in a bench role, some sort of assistant.
Bench role, I can see bench role.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna hate Jorge Posada. I hope you guys know that.
But if
Posada was like the biggest jerk on the Yankees. He was the reason why.
But we need a jerk in that dugout a little bit. Like until we got Cabrera and got these kids to have some swag, we didn't have a jerk. We had no swag. We had no jerk. We need somebody that's gonna cuss the other team and be mean.
That's what Donaldson does, but he does it in a weird way that no one really supports. Like Josh Donaldson's that kid in class that no one likes. He's a hard guy.
He sits over in the corner all by himself.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Like, what are you doing?
Donaldson's like those guys nowadays that they send a mean tweet and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I did my job. Yeah, I told him.
Exactly.
Oh, you did? Well, send a tweet. No one cares about that. It's like, didn't you hear what I said on MLB Network?
Yeah, and then they laughed at him to get 214 and didn't run out a pop-up 2 days later.
Jeez.
And I'm sorry, but like if we were to make Jorge anything, then you know what? Let's bring in Bernie so he can have the guitar in there as well.
Hell yeah. Hey, bring him home. Bring them all home. Bring Mariano home. Bring Pettit home. Bring them all home.
Bring Jeter. Bring Jeter.
I mean, Clemens posted something the other day on that Texas. He was pitching in Texas and the alumni game. He's in upper 70s, low 80s. I'm like, yo, this guy could be a valuable bullpen role right now somewhere.
Actually,
all those guys would be miserable.
It was funny. I was watching on Sunday. I was watching the whole on ESPN2 the Piquet show one. And what Bonds was saying was really interesting. The stuff that he was saying though about the whole batting, the whole batting mechanics, and what he would try to tell the young people when he was in Miami and everything like that about hey, don't worry, you're just hit it, give me a line out, and then getting a home run and all kinds of stuff. And it's we're happy what I did. It's no, man, that's what you had to do. I wanted you to do a line. It's get people. He someone like Bonds that I like right there. Because I think Bonds has that mechanics in the batting and it's something different because we know he knows what to do. I will always be angry about Bonds of the whole steroids, but as a baseball player, I know he knows what he's doing. He is legitimately out there. When he was in Pittsburgh and when he was in San Fran in the early years, oh my gosh, he was undeniable one of the best players out there in baseball. And he knows everything. He knows how to outfield. We don't got to worry about that. But in the whole batting area, and he knows batting mechanics, and he could get into the mind of these young guys that he could get them to do something that they can't do and they're not willing to do.
I agree.
I'm okay for that.
Before the roids, he's a good average hitter. He had speed, he still had some pop. Then he started to take the roids, and everything kind of spiraled from there.
For sure. Well, to wrap us up, we're getting towards that. So we're getting towards that point. The AA team, managed by our friend of the pod, Danny Fiorito, AA champions.
I'm glad you touched on this. I was going to hit on this before we left.
Yeah, really cool to see. Fordham Prep alumni, go Rams. But Danny showing out, leading a squad that was stacked. That team from the beginning of the season towards the end was stacked top to bottom. Brandon Lockridge had a really good season, had a lot of big hits, another friend of the pod. And, they showed out. Like, it's not easy to win, in AA. It's not. That's where a lot of teams send their top prospects. And for the Yankees to come out on top in a really competitive Eastern League, it's a step in the right direction. You want those guys winning. You want Dominguez winning. You want Pereira, Austin Wells winning, Everson. All those dudes that are there now, you want them to be used to winning so that once they get to the Yankees, they already know that's the expectation in the Bronx.
Absolutely.
And they know they could do it.
It was great to see. Everybody got a hit. Dominguez 3 for 4 with the 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. The 2 walks is really what showed out. The 2 walks are great. And both the home runs, one was from the left side, one was from the right side. So that was great. And we can't go off air without talking about absolute no-hitter. Randy Vasquez, 8 innings, no hits. No one's talking about him. We need to start. That kid's going to be a really good number, like a high caliber 3, low number 2, if not some more. Carson Coleman closed it out with 1 no-hit inning. So, again, that's a bullpen guy that's been really quiet. No one's talking about him either. So, both those guys are shooting up all the rankings everywhere. All-around great game. 15-0 to no-hitter. Take it, go home.
That was awesome. It was awesome.
I'm happy. Oh, go ahead.
19 homers, 69 RBIs, 77 walks, an OPS of like about 850 in AA and single A through AA as a 19-year-old. This dude is 19, switch hitter, center fielder, 19 homers, and I think he had 36 stolen bases.
That is ridiculous.
Dude is a stud. I can't wait to see him in the Bronx.
No. When it comes, I've been excited for Dominguez for a while, so I'm not even worried about that one. Like when he comes to the show, I'm ready for that one. Like he could be someone like if Aaron Judge would do a couple of years going back to him, do like maybe like say 5 years. Oh my gosh, that would have been great because the transition for him to Dominguez would have been great, but that's not going to happen. So that's inherited there. But now coming back to our whole minor leagues, especially the AA ball, I just go back to the whole saying, winning isn't everything. Is it everything? It's the only thing. And now that they're learning about winning at this young stage, when they do get to the Bronx, they know the expectations that we all know that they got to have, and to know, hey, we're here to win. We're not here to be friends with you guys. And oh my gosh, we knew each other in the minors. Oh my gosh, I'm just your friend. No, I don't want none of that stuff. We're here to whoop butt and take names. That's all I want when those guys come up.
So crazy thing. December 2023, J-Dom is Rule 5 eligible.
Oh,
that's
he's
crazy to think about. Yeah, they're gonna put him on the 40 at some point. He's gonna be in AA quick next year. If he doesn't start in AA, it's gonna be AA quick. But crazy to think about, you're gonna have to sit him on the roster like on the 40 man for 2 and maybe almost 3 years before we see him in the big leagues.
For sure.
Unless they rush him.
Yep. Well, this was fun. And I'm glad we wrapped it up with on a high note, the Eastern League champions and the American League 2022 American League champions. That I'm the only one in this group. I'm the only guy here who chose it. So yeah, let's go Yankees. All right.
Yeah. They almost traded Glaber. They were just a piece away. Get out of here. Come on, man. Okay, me and Paul would have been right too.
Glaber's one homer away from my preseason prediction. All right. So, Paul, Alex, thanks for joining us tonight. To our international audience, continue listening. We appreciate it. Remember, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. We need some reviews on Apple Podcasts and wherever you catch our podcasts. All right. So, have a good night, everybody.
For your whole little thing, he needs to actually play a game to hit a home run, though.